While families across America are watching their healthcare premiums skyrocket, Republicans are on vacation. Senator Patty Murray just called them out, not with political spin, but with cold, brutal facts. She says GOP leaders are ignoring their own voters while pretending this crisis doesn't exist. And her message is simple: stop playing politics and start governing before millions lose their health care.
Well, President Trump could not be less focused on reopening the government or preventing premiums from exploding. But he is very focused on bailing out Argentina and buying private jets for Secretary Noem and bulldozing the White House so he can build a fancy new ballroom, even in the middle of a shutdown. Meanwhile, Republican leaders are sticking their heads in the sand and doing nothing beyond the same failed partisan vote over and over and over again. In a shock to no one, Republicans' decision to ignore reality has done nothing to change it. While House Republicans can't even be bothered to come back and do their jobs for over a month now, healthcare premiums are right now going through the roof. And you don't have to take my word for it. Window shopping started in my state of Washington today, and it is going to start in many other states as well. That means that today, families are logging on, looking for health care coverage for next year, and coming face to face with massive price hikes because Republicans downright refuse to work with us to do something about it. I have heard from families whose premiums are doubling or even worse. I have spoken to small businesses. Their owners are realizing that they may have to close up their shop or give up their health care. And this is not just happening in Washington State. I know because I've been talking to people in Idaho and Montana as well. This crisis is hitting them just as hard and in many ways even harder. So a reminder from my Republican colleagues, the majority of people who rely on the premium tax credits are in red states. And the states where those families will see premiums jump the most, again, all red states. These are your voters, and you are not listening to them. Instead, what is the Republican response? Silence. What is the Republican solution? Wait. Where are the House Republicans? Oh, they're on a month-long vacation that has no end in sight. This is not even remotely close to good enough. Not when open enrollment starts nationwide next week. Not when it has already started in Idaho, and not when families are window shopping right now and seeing astronomical prices. The Republican leaders' plan is to do nothing while those prices get locked in and people get priced out of their health care. Don't tell us to wait. Don't tell us to ignore this problem. Republicans have had all year to get serious about health care. Instead, they focused on tax cuts for billionaires, and they did not tell them to wait for new tax breaks. But now they are forcing working families to wait until those devastating price hikes are unavoidable. I mean, Republicans have actually talked more about health care during the shutdown than they have all year. But they are still refusing to talk about solutions. Wait is not a solution. Maybe we should have repealed Obamacare. That is not a solution. Saying we have a plan again, over and over and over again, is not a solution. Here's my clear message to Republican leadership. Stop wasting time. Stop ignoring your constituents and come to the negotiating table so we can work out a bill to reopen the government and prevent the health care cost crisis. Democrats are here. We are ready to get this done. But with window shopping underway and open enrollment right around the corner, Republicans need to understand there is not time to waste.
What Senator Patty Murray said on the Senate floor isn't just political frustration. It's a warning about how government inaction creates real suffering. She's talking about a system where ideology has replaced responsibility, and where the people in power seem more focused on scoring points than solving crises. Right now, millions of Americans are trying to figure out how to afford health insurance for next year. Premiums are skyrocketing, not by a few dollars, but in some cases doubling. That's not an abstract statistic, that's a family having to choose between health care and rent. It's a small business deciding whether to cover employees or keep the doors open. And what's Murray pointing out? That the people hit hardest by this crisis aren't in blue states, they're in red ones. The very communities that Republican lawmakers claim to represent are now paying the price for political games in Washington. This is what happens when governing becomes about obstruction instead of solutions. Murray's message is simple but brutal. Republicans aren't doing their jobs. The House is on vacation, the government is shut down, and families are being told to wait. Wait while costs go up. Wait while their coverage expires. Wait while the politicians who broke the system take another recess. But wait is not a policy, it's an excuse, and it's one that hits the most vulnerable the hardest. Because healthcare costs don't wait, medical emergencies don't wait, the rent doesn't wait. Only politicians do. When Senator Murray calls out that hypocrisy, saying Republicans rush to give tax breaks to billionaires but can't find time to protect families from premium hikes, she's laying bare how warped the nation's priorities have become. The government can move mountains when the wealthy want another cut, but somehow it's always too complicated when ordinary people need relief. And the truth is, she's right to sound the alarm. Open enrollment isn't some distant event, it's happening now. People are logging in, looking for coverage, and realizing they can't afford it. That's not a distant political issue, that's a crisis of affordability and dignity that defines whether people live with security or fear. This is bigger than just healthcare. It's about the moral contract between government and citizen, whether leaders see their role as caretakers of the public good or defenders of corporate comfort. Murray's anger isn't performative. It's rooted in the frustration of watching government collapse under its own partisanship. And that's what the left lens sees here. Not just another speech about healthcare, but a deeper commentary on what leadership looks like in a democracy that's forgetting how to govern. A shutdown isn't just closed offices and halted paychecks. It's a statement that political pride matters more than public service. Murray's final challenge is simple. Come to the table. Negotiate. Do your job. Because while politicians stall, the American people are the ones paying the bill, sometimes literally with their health. When government breaks down, it's not abstract. It's personal. And until both parties, especially the ones holding up negotiations, treat it that way, this cycle of crisis and gridlock will never end. This isn't just about reopening the government, it's about reopening accountability. Subscribe to Left Lens, where we break through the noise and bring clarity to the politics that affect your life.